Happy Sunday, y'all. Hope everyone had a great weekend. And of course, we would end March in a huge way. See, as how we're getting into April, and then spring is in full bloom. There's flowers, there's tons of color everywhere. I figure it is high time that we talk about some absolutely beautiful toned coins that sold for a ton of money, and not just any toned coins. Okay, we're going to focus on some really common dated material here, folks. So, if we take a coin that is so plainly readily available, okay, case in point, 1896 Morgan silver dollar. Tons of these were made. These are one of the most common dated coins in the Morgan series, okay, and they should be affordable. All right, should be. Okay, I use the term very loosely. This coin right here, PCGS Mid-State 65, has a guidebook value on PCGS's website of $150. All right, but what happens when you splash a little bit of color on there? How about you just drop the, the palette of watercolors all over the place and it happen to land on the coin? Well, you have this bad boy right here. It's the same coin, only it's toned. The great news is this coin right here sold about a month and a half ago on eBay for $1,800. Okay, first observance you'll see, same exact grade, Mid-State 65. Again, a clean blast white example has a catalog value of $150. One with absolutely beautiful, stunning toning, which is all natural, by the way, sold for 1,800 schmackaroons. Yeah, I like it a lot. So that's a Morgan dollar. To a lot of people, that's kind of out of reach in terms of, being able to cherry pick something like that. So how about we look at something that's a little bit more attainable, all right, for folks like you and I, okay? I'm not a deep pockets guy by any means. I can't afford thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in coins. I'm very conservative when it comes to the amount of money I spend on my coins. But here's what I can tell you. I love to cherry pick. I love to cherry pick varieties, errors, and most of all, I love finding deals on old toned coins. Okay, coins that have been untouched and unplayed with. It's the number one true hallmark of originality in coins today. So I have 5 coins plus one honorable mention. These are by no means the most expensive Kennedy half dollars with color on them that have sold in auctions, but to keep it kind of consistent, I went ahead and looked on great collections. What has been some of the hottest selling, most gorgeous, radiant, toned Kennedy half dollars that have sold within the last 5 to 10 years. And I'm happy to say that I have it right here. So we're going to start with the honorable mention coin. Of course, this is all going to be based off of dollar value, but do not at all feel bad for the honorable mention coin, okay? And here's why. Take a look at this bad boy right here. All right, this thing is drop dead gorgeous. All right, and what I could tell you about this, okay, it's a Mid-State 66 coin. Okay, it has a PCGS price guide value of $225, even though it's in an NGC slab, so the guide value might be a little bit less than that. Usually all of the great eye appeal type coins like this will come with a star. Sometimes they'll put it on there, sometimes they won't. This is an NGC only exclusive feature that they do. What I like about this coin is its originality. All right, you have, for the most part, you have a lot of, a lot of greens in there. Okay, we did just, have our St. Patrick's Day time of the year. Okay, so this kind of like speaks to the time of the year. Very green, luscious. You have some of those rosy pinks in there. You have some splashes of nebulous purple and a little bit of orange, toward the bottom of the coin. This thing is magnificent. All right, you don't see this that often. Now, I will say this, okay? The reverse of the coin is absolutely blast white, all right? You could really tell about where a toner came from because of this two-part feature, okay? You have lots of color on one side and it's completely blank on the reverse. All right, this was obviously a roll ender. Okay, this was in an old paper roll. All right, and then you have that exposed end on there, which have captured all of the color from just the atmosphere and the, you know, the paper, you know, the acidity from the paper just kind of permeating and toning the end of the coin. Okay, back then they call it tarnish. We still call it tarnish today, but the most beautiful of rainbow colors, you know, these are coins that people really love to collect. Now, you know, it's a 66. It has a guide value of 225 through PCGS. This one sold February of 2017 for $765. You're going to look at this coin and you're going to look at the 5 other coins that I have for you based off of dollar value. You're going to look at the number 6 coin, which is the honorable mention, and say, you know what, that one probably should have sold for quite a bit more money. All right, so I want you to keep this one in the back of your head, all right, as you go and take a look at the other coins that we have on the list for you. All right, so the next coin right here is a 1965 candy half dollar, although this one is a special mint set coin. All right, so this one typically does not tone in the packaging of those special mint set cases. All right, they just don't. You don't see that often. This coin was probably left in an old manila envelope, or, you know, it was encapsulated inside of an old album, and that's how you get the double-sided color on this one. But because of the special mint set, almost kind of like satiny finish on it, this one is more velvety smooth compared to the other coins that you will see on this list. But make no mistake about it, this is a stunner. Okay, it's a PCGS graded SP67. All right, it just doesn't get any better than this. You have splashes of a lot of kind of like this darker violet on both sides. You have some light yellows and russet browns, a little bit of blues. You know, there's just a whole melting pot of various colors in this coin. Typically, this coin right here would be about, you know, $30. Okay, SP67 without color on any other coin is common. It is super available in this grade, especially one without the cameo. So when you take into consideration a coin with this radiant color on both sides, you have a coin that sold for $1,040.62. This was a sale, again, on Great Collections, August of 2017. Not that far removed. This is a relatively modern sale. All right, so the next coin, you know, you're going to see the toning maybe not as fantastic as the previous two, but I'm going to vouch for this 64D right here. Okay, it's an NGC graded Mint State 67. This one right here is straight up pretty. This looks like something that you would see in folklore, like fairies dancing around, you know, in the forest. You know, so you have the darker kind of like, you know, greenish foresty type colors, as if you're looking up into the sky through the trees, with some of the magical purple color really shining through on the obverse. And what I like about this coin is that you have full coverage of color on the obverse of the coin. All right, so again, you know, this coin right here appears to be a roll ender of sorts, because the reverse is absolutely blast white. This is a magnificent coin. And what's really cool is that this has a little provenance to it. Okay, this is an X Sunset Collection piece. This is an example that sold January of 2018 for $1,576.12. And this is a coin that has a considerably lower value without all the toning. Okay, so this is another example of a coin that, you know, with this rich coloration, will really make a coin that traditionally would only value at around a couple $100, and make it worth about 6 to 7 times that. So it's a phenomenal example. So this is another one of my favorites here. It's a 1964 PCGS Mid-State 66 coin. This one, talk about conservative in terms of the grade. That's what this one is. Okay, but again, do not let the grade fool you, because this one right here has what I perceive to be the best flow of colors. You have a lot of the kind of like canary yellow in there, some of that nebulous spotty bluish and violets radiating through in a pattern that's very, very stripe-like. You got multiple layers of the same color just kind of going back and forth, and that's what I really love about this coin. What also really strikes me as well is the fact that you have some of that same coloration kind of creeping through on the reverse. Okay, while it doesn't cover the entire reverse, you have some of that coverage on the reverse that I really like. Okay, I'm willing to bet, and the pictures really do it justice, but I'm sure if you had this in hand, this thing would be absolutely stunning. Now here's the kicker. The guide value on a Mint State 66 1964, this is a 90% coin, is only $70. But here's where it gets really nutsoid. This one sold in 2015 for $2,256.10. Wow. Okay. I say wow a lot, but that's a huge understatement. This coin sold for many, many, many times what its actual guide value is worth for the numerical grade. This one, above all else on the list, is the one that is the most amazing in terms of how much money you can make off of a toned coin. So, truly marvelous. This next coin right here is probably my least favorite, but it has a character all its own. It's a 1965 Candy half dollar. It's a 40% silver composition. This one is Mint State 67 Star. I think on this one, the numerical grade kind of carried it a little bit higher as opposed to the toning. But the toning on this, again, it's more of that, I'm in the forest glade, with the sun barely peeking through. So you have a lot of the rich greenery, that's really on the coin. You have a little bit of magenta, a little bit of rosy pink in there at the kind of like the top of the coin. But all in all, this is a really exceptional example here. Again, it looks like it's a roll ender because the reverse is blast white on this. And this is a coin that sold for a good deal of money when it went to auction. It sold May 8th of 2016 to the tune of $2,477.20. Again, this is a coin that is generally worth only a few $100s without all of the color. But it's because of the extra bit of toning that it really kind of complements the overall value of the coin because of that color. So we're gonna kind of knock it out here in a huge way. All right, on the top of the list, and we have one more 1964 Candy half dollar. Again, another 90% composition. This one has a pretty nice high grade, but it is not the highest grade ever for a 64, and that's a PCGS Mint State 67 Plus. This one has a guide value of $4,000, so the bar is already set pretty high. This one has what I would consider to be really like intergalactic colors. Okay, for the most part, a lot of the colors is kind of like a dark, rich violet / blue. And then you get to see this kind of like a nebulous Milky Way spot on the obverse of, a little bit of gold and magenta and some rosy pink and a little hint of green. You just kind of see all the colors encapsulated on one side of the coin. And that's a really phenomenal looking coin. This is probably, I have two favorites on this list. Believe it or not, it's this coin here and then the honorable mention coin. So I bookended it, with my two favorite coins, which I think is appropriate for this list. So this one with a guide value of $4,000 is pretty up there anyways, okay? But this one sold February 18th of 2018 on Great Collections for $8,156.25. Ooh, that, ladies and gentlemen, is kind of a conclusion of this whole thing. An $8,000 coin that's worth $4,000 that you could find and buy for about $10 today. Tone coins are out there in mass. Okay, there's quite a few of them. Now, finding some that are absolutely stunning, as all the examples that you see here, might take a little bit of searching. But if you were to find some of the old stock that's in the paper wrappers, or maybe if you find an old album with a bunch of BU coins in there, you know, that's going to be your best bet. And that's where you're going to find some of the most stunning, the most beautiful colored coins in all of collecting. Of course, most of the toning is going to occur on things like silver and copper because they're most reactive to the elements. Okay, they're most reactive to paper, to the air, overall atmospheric conditions like humidity and the coldness in the air. So, you know, it was a really nice pleasure to talk about this list. Okay, and I hope I talked about something that's more attainable for everyone. Everybody loves silver. Everybody loves beautiful coins, okay? Colored coins can be a little subjective to some, you know. It's like I'm not going to say it's a love or hate thing. It's like, oh, you know, it's toned, so I should dip it. Yeah, well, you just killed all the freaking value out of it. But anyways, yeah, this is actually kind of a passion of mine, so I'm happy to talk about it this evening. So thank you for all the, you know, all the support. Thank you for the views, especially. And yeah, check me out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And of course, the best way you can support my channel, guys, is to hit the like button, share, and subscribe. Thank you for your time on this video, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest